Hi, today we're going to talk about your baritone. In this first lesson, we're going to learn about opening the case, taking the baritone out, and what the parts of the baritone are. The baritone case is pretty big, so before you open it, you want to make sure of a couple things. Number one, have it set on a flat, hard surface, either a table or the floor. The floor is pretty good. I've never seen an instrument fall off of the floor, so I'd recommend that for starters. Before you open the case, make sure you have the handle facing you. This ensures that the lid is going to open up the right way. Now you want to have the case lid up. How do you know which way is up? Usually the top of the lid has a label of some sort on it. It may have your school name. Your instructor may have put your name on the top as well. Also, when you open the latches, the latch will open upwards. So these are ways that you can tell that the case is upright the correct way. So let's go ahead and open the latches. This case has 3. Your case may look a little different, may have more latches. Make sure they're all open or else the case won't open. And open the case. Now this case also has a strap holding the instrument in. Just undo that strap, but remember, if your case does have a strap, it's there for a reason. Use the strap when you put it back and carefully remove the instrument. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about the name of this instrument. You may have an instrument that's called the baritone, or you may have an instrument that's called euphonium. They're both very similar and play the same role in band music. They sound pretty much the same. This is an American baritone. It's a little larger than a standard baritone. You may have one that looks like a baby version of this, or perhaps the top section, the bell section, is pointed straight up and it's smaller. That would be a traditional baritone. You may have an instrument that's about this size, but the top points straight up. That is probably a euphonium. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use the word baritone, but you can use baritone and euphonium interchangeably for what we're going to talk about. First of all, this is a pretty large instrument, and it's also a delicate instrument, believe it or not. So when you set the instrument down, if you have to set it on the floor, always set it with this part, with the buttons, the valves facing up. You don't ever want to set it with that part facing down for a couple reasons. All of these tubes can get damaged, and this part of the instrument, which is actually the thinnest and most easily bent, can get damaged very easily as well. So always set it down, lay it down that way. So the parts of the baritone. So starting with the part that you're going to blow into, hey, it's not there. Well, if I look in the case, there's usually a compartment for it. If there's not, your instructor is going to give you a special place to keep this part. This is the part you blow into. It's called the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece will fit into the baritone just gently into this section. Put it in and a gentle twist. That's all you ever need to do. Anything else is damaging the instrument. This part it goes into is called the lead pipe. From the lead pipe, the tubing goes into a section of valves, one for each finger, 1, 2, 3. Each valve has a slide attached to it that allows us to make small adjustments to the instrument that your instructor will tell you about later. The slide attached to the first valve is the first valve slide. The slide attached to the second valve is the smallest one, and this is the second valve slide. Finally, the largest one, consequently the one that gets bent the easiest is the third valve slide right here, the biggest one. Now if I follow those, it goes into one more big piece of tubing down here at the bottom that's adjustable also. And this is the main tuning slide. And it can affect the sound of the entire instrument depending on how much it's pulled out or pushed in. You'll also notice at the bottom of the main tuning slide, there's this water key right here. And this is for releasing condensation from the instrument. Your instrument may have several water keys, and they might be located in different places. Finally, if I follow the tubing all the way around, it gets wider as we go. This is really a cone shape if we unwrap it. To the largest part of the instrument, that's the bell. And again, remember that we talked about that this part is also a really fragile part of the instrument. When you hold the baritone, it's really easy. It's probably one of the easiest instruments to hold. There's a ring right here, a thumb ring that your thumb goes in. And then each finger, 1, 2, 3, goes on a valve, and your pinky just kind of hangs out. Your left hand supports the baritone by grabbing this big piece of tubing here to put it to where your mouth is. Now you may have a baritone or euphonium that has top-facing valves, in which case the mouthpiece is going to be situated differently. Your valves are going to be in here somewhere, and there's usually a little piece of tubing to put your thumb under or a thumb ring to grab. As I mentioned earlier, there may be a little compartment in your baritone case where the mouthpiece is kept. That's also a good place to keep other accessories. That compartment may be in some other part of your case, or it may not be in your case at all. Accessories for the baritone include the following: valve oil, tuning slide grease, a mouthpiece brush. This is used to clean the part that goes in your mouth, very important. And usually a polishing cloth for wiping off fingerprints when you're done. Even an old instrument like this one that's been well used deserves to be wiped off when it's done. Now, if your baritone case doesn't have a place to keep all of these, I suggest just using a Ziploc bag, or you can get a fancier bag if you want. Put your accessories in them, zip the bag shut, and then you can safely keep that in your case. That way, the accessories won't all fly around the case when you're carrying the case. Once you put the instrument in the case, remember, this is just a fancy dust cover for your instrument. It's not sanctuary. Always treat this as if there was a living thing inside, and that way you know that the instrument inside is going to be taken well care of. The baritone is a wonderful sounding instrument and one that's really fun to play. In the next video, you'll learn about how to hold it and how to start making some sounds on it, and also basic care of the instrument. Have fun playing the baritone.